Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1.
Caitlin Clark has done it again. As if breaking records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even stepping on the floor. Complex just named her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her status as the biggest name in sports right now. And guess what?
Beat out Angel Reese, who, unsurprisingly, isn't handling it well.
So it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right, Clark is out here winning awards, growing the game, and making history.
Reese is scrambling for excuses, acting like this honor isn't a big deal. But let's be real. If she had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, Reese is doing what she does best.
Meanwhile, some people are too busy scrolling on TikTok instead of putting in the work.
Spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's get one thing straight, this isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans actually care about. One player has everyone tuning in to see her jaw-dropping talent. The other? Well, she's famous for other reasons.
Headlines for everything except basketball. One side sees that
it's not even close when one player is actually winning. There's no real competition.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm all right, cool. I can just hoop. So I'm all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out.
Now, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she just got robbed? We're diving into the stats, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath. Let's get into
Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she smashed them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Think about that. This isn't just making history, it's rewriting the entire record book. No rookie in WNBA history has dominated like this, and she's just getting started.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the FIBA rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from it.
And it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up unreal numbers, she completely transformed a struggling franchise. Before she arrived, the Indiana Fever were at the bottom of the league. Then Caitlin Clark showed up, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just talent, that's game-changing dominance.
The better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Now, let's talk about what's happening off the court, because this is where Clark completely separates herself from the so-called competition. WNBA merchandise sales skyrocketed by 500% in her rookie season. That's not a typo. The demand for jerseys, shirts, and memorabilia went through the roof the second she stepped on the court. And you already know who wasn't selling out.
Angel Reese's jerseys were just sitting there, collecting dust, while Clark's were gone within minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
But it's bigger than just jerseys. Clark's influence is transforming the entire WNBA. Viewership is at an all-time high. Arenas that used to struggle to sell tickets are now packed when Clark comes to town. Teams that once begged for fans are now expanding seating to meet demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number one. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number one. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are blown away by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, one of the top names in sports business, called Clark a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan in terms of how she's elevating the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's right.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone generated $36 million for Indianapolis. One player did that. And experts predict that in the next 3 years, her rise will increase the value of women's basketball by $1.6 billion. Yes, billion with a B.
Look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number one pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to.
So, what does this all mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar, she's a movement. She's not just dominating on the court, she's reshaping the entire future of the WNBA. She's bringing in new fans, driving massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch entertainment.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is sitting there still trying to figure out why she wasn't the one named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd understand.
About sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the three, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese. Stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. On TikTok. He's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses. Bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as...
Clark winning this award might seem obvious, but the bigger story is how she got here. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped up as Clark's biggest competition. The media pushed the idea of a rivalry, framing it as a season-long battle. But let's be real, was it ever actually close?
Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark, is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor...
From the start, the media tried to make it seem like 2 rookies were going head-to-head for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a battle of equals. One player was dominating the league, while the other was making more headlines than highlight reels.
3-on-3, part 13, let's get it! Classic long two. Bang! PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away. Bang! What? Bang! I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. They say $1 million for every missed layup is fair. Bang! They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her. Long two, butter pecan. Bang!
Then came the Rookie of the Year and first team all WNBA selections, and that's when everything became obvious. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called rivalry? It wasn't even close.
Well, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating...
And how did Reese respond? She jumped on social media, claiming Clark didn't deserve the award. Imagine losing by a mile and still demanding a recount.
Her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off.
But here's the truth, Clark's success isn't just about awards or rivalries. She's not focused on collecting trophies. She's focused on changing the game. She's breaking attendance records, bringing in millions of new fans, and making the WNBA bigger than ever.
I thought scoring, yes, she's the all-time greatest scorer in the history of college basketball, men's or women's, but passing like this? I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque bounce passing. I'm talking about gifted LeBron-esque two-handed, full court, touchdown pass kind of passing. The likes of which I don't see in the WNBA.
That's not to say Reese hasn't contributed to the WNBA's rise. She's certainly keeping things entertaining. But let's be honest.
Clark is drawing fans with her skills. Meanwhile, Reese is getting attention for, well, everything but basketball. It's two completely different paths to relevance, one built on greatness,
the other on controversy.
That skinny white girl was the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA. She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the entire league, the one you can't take your eyes off of.
Clark being named the most influential female athlete isn't just another trophy, it's a turning point for the WNBA. She's not just breaking records, she's expanding the league's reach. People aren't just watching her, they're watching women's basketball like never before.
Asia Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
Of course, not everyone is happy about Clark's rise. Some WNBA veterans and analysts argue that too much focus on one player could overshadow others. And while that's a fair concern, let's be real, where was all this energy before Clark arrived? The league had years to build this kind of excitement, but it took Caitlin Clark stepping in and flipping the script to make it happen. Some critics worry Clark's hype might set unrealistic expectations or take away from team play. But guess what? That's exactly what the WNBA needs. Basketball is a star-driven sport, and now the league finally has a superstar who can command attention. More eyes on Clark means more eyes on the WNBA, and that benefits everyone.
Cut down 22-year-old Caitlin Clark, who has single-handedly changed the game, brought in millions of other young fans, old fans. How about the ratings in college basketball for her? Record ratings. And now in her very short WNBA career, shattering records. Isn't that a win for everybody?
Clark is winning bigger than ever, whether her critics like it or not. She's the one pushing the league forward, and no amount of complaining is going to change that.
What are we doing and why? Please stop. Let's celebrate Caitlin Clark, celebrate her greatness, celebrate her courage to keep pushing.
Her impact goes beyond records. She's changing the entire conversation around how the WNBA builds its brand. People have said for years that the league needs better marketing, but here's the reality: Clark has been the biggest catalyst for change the WNBA has ever seen. Fans love watching greatness, and Clark is redefining what's possible in the sport.
The league. But let's be real. It's only a rivalry on one side.
Think about this: Clark didn't just break records, she completely reset expectations. She's raising the bar for rookies, teams, and the league itself. She's inspiring young athletes, driving massive growth, and making sure the WNBA isn't just surviving, it's thriving. And this is just the beginning.
Caitlin Clark, you go girl. Don't listen to these people. Keep going strong. Most of us are normal and have your...
So, what's next for Clark and Reese? Their so-called rivalry has helped bring attention to the league, but the difference is clear. Clark is focused on winning, while Reese is focused on staying relevant. Love it or hate it, their dynamic is pushing the WNBA into the spotlight like never before. Next time these two face off, remember it's not just about competition. It's about the evolution of the WNBA. Every game they play is another opportunity to grow the sport, break records, and capture new fans. The Caitlin Clark era isn't coming, it's already here. The only question is, who's ready to keep up? Certainly not Angel Reese. What do you think? Is Clark's dominance good for the WNBA, or is she leaving the rest of the league in the dust? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Click the one on your screen now, and we'll see you next time.